for you for about a half an hour or so, and Thursday and Saturday, this is Tuesday, the days run away like wild horses over the hill, as Charles Bukowski wrote, especially in this period, but anyway, let's get right down to it. That's the cue known as Dancing in the Pub by Mihai Vish, a great Czech composer, a musician. He has a group called Trabant. If you know your automotive history, you know about the Trabant. And that occurs in a pivotal scene in the great film Satan Tango, all 6.5, 7 hours worth of it. It's one of the high points, and no animals were harmed in the making of the film, but some of the people in it were definitely in advanced states of intoxication, and particularly in that scene. Kids, don't try this at home, or don't really try it in the street. Although, I must say, yesterday Karen and I took a beautiful stroll out in the neighborhood observing the flora and fauna, and a lot of young people were social distancing, not without masks, and having a high old time of it. Yeah, and however, there was a fantastic French bistro hitherto unknown to us on West 4th Street. I don't want to give too much away, because it'll get mobbed. Well, maybe that's a good thing. Anyway, it's right next to a place called the Black Derby, and they have the best mimosa. I'm a teetotaler, but even I succumbed to a few sips of this absolute nectarish drink with fresh OJ and champagne, and a splendid time was had by y'all. So anyway, and you seem to be able to carry it everywhere. Nobody is enforcing any rules. It's amazing that the social fabric hasn't rendered beyond what it already is. But anyway, I'm trying to keep things coherent and together here in these little moment musicale. So what we started with the theme to Casino Royale. Before that, a little snatch of La Marseillaise. I'm getting very into my Francophone period again. And Casino Royale was followed a bit by the Satin Tango music. And I think I will switch now to my steel guitar. Let's bring out what my late mom referred to as the Tranti, which is a Yiddishism for an old junker. And that was our Corvair, unsafe at any speed. We had a couple of them in the 60s, the Tranti. But this thing is from the early 20s. It's like a mid-century National Steel Duolian that was, I guess, as distinct from the Triolian model. It was designed specifically for duos, and it has this sort of weird inverted pie plate, maybe made by the Frisbee Company of New Haven, I'm not sure, maybe, under the resonator here. And this projects the sound. It gives it its characteristic hollow, twangy sound. And so I love this thing. As mentioned, it was referred to by Don Van Vliet as an instrument of destruction. Like, that's not a guitar, that's an instrument of death. That was the precise words. I'm trying to stay away from the death motif because, as you know, there's too much of it around. I guess we here in America are at the 100,000 mark, and I guess you could count my mom among one of them because the death certificate, which was just revealed, lists COVID-19 as one of the causes of death, but she was pretty far gone anyway. She had a lot of problems, and she lived to 93. So anyway, this is called Bindlestiff Blues. was Sure Enough and Yes I Do, the very first song on the very first Beefheart album, featuring a very young Ry Cooder, who was a sterling guitar player and made some beautiful albums in his own right. And yeah, a little bit of The Songstress on the Edge of Heaven, which is a signature song of the great golden voice of China, a.k.a. Zhou Xuan, who appears in a great film in 1937, The Angel on the Street, directed by Yuan Muzi. Please check it out. I think it's online, probably for free, at YouTube. And at this juncture, I want to read a list of donators, contributors, enablers, friends and strangers and fans. Okay, Eric Levine, thank you so much for gifting me at PayPal. And I urge all of you who like what you hear, please visit me there. My address is gary@garylucas.com. Send it as a friend or family. That way they don't take a bite out of my cut or yours, I don't think. Okay, template. I got to investigate further as to the identity of this person. Who was that masked man? Template, T-E-M-P-L-I-T. That sounds very French, too. I'm not sure. But Tliptum backward. Michael Lutz, thank you. So appreciated. Sally Sanders, ditto. Dave Schultz, the great Dave Schultz of Trouser Press magazine, renowned, and Facebook friend. He's a regular watcher of the skies and of the show. David Stovall, my UK friend, really bless you. Lastly, but not leastly, Irene Trudell, one of my oldest friends, and Irene is one of the mainstays at WFMU, the great listener-supported radio station right across the river over there. Oh, let's see, where is it? Here we are, there's the Hudson, and it's somewhere over in the vicinity down that way. Yeah, okay. WFMU, who have been so supportive of my work over the years. And Irene does a regular webcast show for them on Mondays, I believe, from 12 to 3, so check her out. And I know her and her husband, Peter Keepnes, and I can tell you I had the distinct pleasure of inadvertently midwifing their subsequent marriage because they met each other on a subway car to to my video shoot for an early song of mine called Skin the Rabbit, of which I did a solo version that was sung by the great Rollo McGinty from the Wooden Tops group. And we were doing a video on like January 2nd, I think, on the coldest day of 1992 or 3, I think 92. And they just kind of identified each other in the subway car. Like, wait a second, aren't you going to this Gary Lucas video shoot? And indeed, they were both. And that's how they met. I'm so happy they're still together. I could tell you stories. But anyway, thank you, Irene. And now, let's move over to electric guitar with my little workhorse 66 Strat here. And I'm a Strat guy from way back. I have my dad to thank because after initiating guitar lessons when I was at a tender age of 9 years old, quite out of the blue, my dad came forward and said, what would you like for your bar mitzvah? I was getting bar mitzvah. If you know anything about the Jewish tradition, this is a time when you stand up in your synagogue and read from the Haftorah, which is a passage from the Bible, the Old Testament. And then people go mad and they give you lots of gifts and fountain pens. And some bar mitzvahs are more elaborate than others, I'm told. Some have had swans made from chopped chicken liver or whatever as the centerpiece at the reception. Ours wasn't that elaborate, thankfully. But I did get a Stratocaster. This is in 1965. Would that I have it here. It's a long story, but what I've got here is a 66, really good one, with what they call a spaghetti neck. That's at least what the great Michael Caroli, the late guitarist from Can, described the neck of this guitar. We had a little guitar duel at the Cooler. I won. Oh, well, no. I mean, anyway, it was a draw. I'll be generous. But I also fried a speaker out of my little GK 250ml Gallion-Kruger amp over there that took months to replace. But anyway, Glenn Kenny was there. Glenn, who wrote the liner notes for this stellar little bit of what is it, PVC? I don't know. It's a double CD that's coming out. This is it, reading incorrectly right to left or vice versa. This is the trick of Facebook streaming, and it's entitled The Essential Gary Lucas. That's me. This is typed by the great Steve Byram, who did all the packaging. I can't tell you how beautiful this thing is. I'm sitting on a box of them, but I can't send them out yet. And for those who managed to find one or two of them that escaped onto, well, I don't want to say where because I don't want to spread this virus, but not at this point anyway. Those who found them, just, don't stream them, keep them to yourself, don't trade them or send files, because there are a lot of rare tracks on this, including some of what I think is the best over 30 albums I've released since 1990. Then it's got great liner notes by Glenn Kenny here. Just great stuff. And it's heavily annotated. There's a picture of Fefe Young and Jason Candler from my Edge of Heaven project. We got some rare track or two from an upcoming album. And that here's me in Transylvania. Yes, how are things in Transylvania? In front of Banfi Castle in Bontida. This is a World Heritage Site castle. And here I am being attacked by a swarm of bats. My favorites. No, it's like pre-COVID picture that was taken up at the top of Yested Tower in the Czech Republic on a foggy night outside Prague. And one of my favorite places to be. I hope to get back there and visit soon. I'll keep checking my traps, as they say, to find out what's what with gigs opening up. Yesterday I ran into a former bandmate from Yale University. I would never have recognized him because we were both wearing masks, but I guess he saw my hats or something. And anyway, he said, "Oh, I hear they've opened up again in Germany." So I don't think so. I don't think clubs are yet functioning anywhere in my typical haunts in Europe or the rest of the globe. But I'm going to check this. Anyway, this is a little number, a toe tapper called Peep Show Bible, a vocal version with full band of my Gods and Monsters crew, Jerry Harrison on keyboards, Ernie Brooks on bass, Jason Candler on sax, Billy Ficca on drums, and Joe Handel on second keyboard. I think he might be the primary keyboardist on this. I gotta check. Anyway, Jerry produced it. And this is... Yeah, Peep Show Bible with, well, the lyrics are clean, but pointed. Also, while I'm here, I want to tell you, our favorite English food shop, Myers of Keswick, has reopened. What was one of the first things I procured there yesterday was Tunnock's tea cakes. Now, I don't know if you can see this. It's awfully bright here where the sun is streaming in the windows. Tunnock's are made right outside Glasgow, and they're kind of like Mallomars. You know, they're absolutely delicious marshmallow chocolate confection, very fattening. And it's a family business, still a family business, it says. That's good. Established 1890, Tunnock's. That little British lion up there. I should say, well, I don't know, not British. I mean, there might be home rule for Scotland, which might not be a bad thing. That was actually an unreleased Soft White Underbelly song for the former incarnation of Blue Oyster Cult that my good friend Sandy Perlman, who tragically passed away, wrote. Home rule for Scotland. Anyway, check out Tonics. And now, while I have a little bit more time, I'm going to do one last number for you guys. I'm going back to my 41, it was backdated because of the headstock. 1941 Gibson J45. And I said there was death all around. Well, I was leaving this morning to get coffee for Caroline and myself at 10 a.m. I saw all these ambulances outside the building. I thought the worst, and it was the worst, though it wasn't related to the virus, but a dear neighbor of ours passed away this morning early, tragically, of natural causes. A guy named Connor, who was as Irish, an Irishman as you can imagine. I love this guy. So I'm going to do a little version of Danny Boy to take this out here. So... we're going to miss you, Connor. So sad about this. Anyway, I hope I did manage to cheer you up. I feel somewhat better, though I'm kind of sad about Connor. And love that you tuned in for this. I'll see you on Thursday. I'm going to do a whole set dedicated to the memory of Jeff Buckley, because Friday it'll be 23 years since Jeff so tragically passed away. So please tune in for that. Thanks, everybody, for listening and checking me out. And those who went to PayPal, man, my undying gratitude. We love you all. See you on Thursday.